What's up? What's up? What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Corner Show with HT Aka High Thinking, and got a special programming here today with y'all. Good to see y'all once again. For everybody that's been watching my lives and all that stuff throughout the past couple of days, yes, I'm definitely trying to establish a good, consistent. Hold on a second, this thing is too loud. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to be a lot more consistent with my lives and stuff like that. Like I said, for the most part, my lives going throughout the week is more or less just me, kind of just going through like serving the net and like researching things and things of that nature. Trying to learn as much as I can about like a lot of the topics that interest me the most. Primarily circled around like politics, a little bit of just a tad bit of social media, well, not social media, but celebrity gossip and pop culture. That's what I'm trying to say, pop culture type stuff. But yeah, but as far as Sundays usually when I have like a kind of more or less a planned show, not necessarily scripted type of thing, more so me kind of riffing about some things that kind of came across my desk, but. But also things a little bit, but still things is a lot more structured than it would be on those study sessions. Is what I call them. But for the most part, how things simply go is I have three segments, and hold on a second, just real quick. Okay, yeah. Typically, I have like three segments going on, and normally I would intro and outro each segment. Just because I mean outro is 7 does not mean that's the end of the show per se. It's more or less just me transitioning from one segment to the next segment. I will be reading all comments that come my way, and it's just that I'll only be reading them in between the segments. However, we have a phone number. It'll show up it'll show up. Oh, well, my bad. It's in the description. But yeah, the numbers in the description. You call anytime you want. You would talk about we can talk about whatever you would like. I preferably anything pertaining to the subject. Yeah, and then I will at the end of the show I will signal that it's the end of the show, no longer the end of the segment, and that's pretty much how it typically goes. But otherwise, yeah, everything's been going pretty okay. I've been doing a lot better personally. Again, just feeling really good and hitting the ground running as far as the podcast is concerned. Like I said, I've daily been taking a significant break, and I'm trying to kind of do like trying to fight against that type of a habit by just simply just streaming more. Like what other way can I do it? What other way can I like establish this healthy habit than to, I mean, double, triple, quadruple, do it every day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely having a good time with this. I mean, it's liberating getting a lot of things off my chest. Needless to say, but it feels at least just as good. Yeah, studying up on a lot of things that actually do matter. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just the last couple of days, we've been really digging in with this big bullshit bill and all that stuff with Donald Trump, checking out the beef he had going on with Elon Musk. So that's been pretty interesting. But yeah, I plan on being rather consistent with that. Outside of that, I do plan on hopping on panels again. I definitely took a real long break from hopping in on panels and stuff, and that was a lot of fun. Talking to a lot of different types of people and just being exposed to all these different types of perspectives and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Needless to say. But other than that, yeah, as far as things that's kind of been on my radar, definitely a lot of things. Definitely a lot of conversations regarding Brandon Johnson. Definitely, our mayor. If anybody didn't know that, mayor of Chicago, and I don't want to go too far into it right now, but things kind of well, mind you, we have talked about Brandon Johnson on this platform on numerous occasions, and frankly, it was relatively like very heavy on the criticism. Like, needless to say, there were some things that I simply just didn't agree with, and how he was handling immigrant situations, just like most other Chicagoans, or let's say many other Chicagoans. Um, so I want people to kind of, at the same time, I want people to kind of like take another look at this whole situation regarding Brandon Johnson, because I know I have. I've been listening and watching the town hall meetings and stuff like that, featuring him, and and many of his people that he appointed and stuff like that, and everybody else that's important within the city lines, within the city limits. Um, it's been very uh, informative watching what he's been doing within the past few months regarding the city's budget and ideas and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, I guess like the fat. I think the easy thing to say right now is that he's doing a bad job. You know what I mean? That's the easy thing to say. But when you actually take some time to actually listen to him and listen to him, listen to uh, town hall meetings, and he makes it really easy for you. Like Brandon Johnson of Chicago literally has a YouTube channel, and you just follow the YouTube channel, and then he posts them every time a new one pops up, and they ask him hard questions, they ask him relatively easy questions, but he's always very. I think he's been quite transparent on how he's been dealing with everything to do with the Chicago and everything, but unfortunately, let me see if I can pull up real quick. I know I heard somebody say something regarding his approval rating. Want to show you a couple things here. Okay. So, yikes. Like, looking good there, B. Oops. Wrong one. There we go. So yeah, AI says Brandon Johnson, the current city mayor of Chicago, has been consistently polled with very low approval ratings, placing him amongst the lowest in recorded U.S. history. A poll in October 29, 2024 showed him with a 14% approval rating and a net favorability rating of -56. A later poll in February 2025 by M3 Strategy showed his approval rating at 6.6%, with 80% disapproving. Key concerns raised by respondents include crime, high taxes, and inflation. Um, yeah, this is the thing that I get kind of, I don't know, man. It's so bizarre, like seeing him get blamed for things such as this. Like first and foremost, like crime is like as reported by the Chicago Police Department, crime has actually been a lot lower this year than it has been like last year and many other preceding years. Um, if I recall correctly, they've had the least amount of like shootings on Memorial Day and since like at least like 10 years. I mean, I imagine I need to. I want to really plan on talking about this, so I'm kind of going off of my memory here, but yeah, the crime. He's being blamed for crime, yet the crime is actually on a down tick. It's that he's making like segue. He's making headway as far as the crime in Chicago. Like, it's really bizarre that that people he's being criticized for that. High taxes is a thing. You know what I'm saying? His the goal is to build a better, safer, stronger Chicago, and that's gonna cost money. Is what it is. I know a lot of people kind of criticize him for A lot of people show criticize him for the again the immigrant situation, how he handled it, but like frankly that the money spent on those on the immigrants that was sent from the Texas governor Greg Abbott, like that was not that only made up for about 1% of the city's budget, and what that tells me is like Chicago has like 99 problems and the immigrants is just one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a lot kind of going on regarding like the totality and the whole nuances of Chicago, and just to put it all on Brandon Johnson over things such as inflation is just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like as far as this 6.6 approval rating, it's probably I think that's one of the lowest in Chicago's history probably, but I'm not convinced he's getting a fair shake here. As a matter of fact, what I really believe is he's getting heavily criticized for having hired so many black constituents. So that's kind of interesting. Me be understanding that when you kind of look at other administrations, right? You kind of see the overbearing lack of diversity. You know what I mean? And it's not even a thing of like meritocracy. Like look at Donald Trump's cabinet for example. Like we got like if you take a look at these people's job description, what's required of that job, what is considered to be high rank, not high rank, but what's considered to be I'm sorry, what prerequisites would be considered to be passable to obtain that job, and match that up with those individuals that Donald Trump appointed and their resume and what they've kind of accomplished for themselves. It literally just doesn't match up. Like the only thing seemingly what they got going for themselves is the networking or the tethering they have to Brandon Johnson. I'm not Brandon Johnson, but Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't like it. But like I said, if they're gonna they're gonna criticize Brandon Johnson for doing the best he can with like a really dire situation. I mean, people need help. The Chicago's citizens want help. They want help. So unfortunately that does cost. But like with them coming up with different ways to make money and stuff like that, generate income for the city, while putting black children and urban children in general to work instead, and then creating things for them to do in the summertime to stop them from being bored enough to commit to violence. I mean, this is the type of stuff that this is the direction Chicago needs to go into, in my humble opinion. But that's that. Another thing that's kind of been that kind of reached my attention was it was this man, and I'm gonna go into this a little bit later on, but like there's a guy, I don't know if you guys know about him or not, but he goes by Conscious Lee. He's like very, very progressive, which is normally a good thing, but like there's also a level of like disingenuousness that needs to be like it needs to be clarified up. It needs to go. You know what I'm saying? Currently he's been taking on like the FBA folks, the hashtag users, and the thing is, the funny thing is like for the how do I explain this? The FBA hashtag, the FBA people, like, don't get me wrong, they have a long way to go as far as like getting, how do I put this? Getting as politically active, as like useful to the black collective, to the black diaspora, etc., as like ADOS for that matter. And that's saying a lot, really. But they have a long way to go as far as like understand on like a myriad of things that will actually invoke change. But it's another problem when somebody as intelligent as Conscious Lee comes in and essentially makes the arguments that he makes. Now, don't get me wrong. There is criticism you can impose on the FBA. Well, they want to be labeled. They want to be called a heritage. A I forgot the word they want to use. Heritage. For now, we're gonna say heritage until I remember the word they usually use. But yeah, they want to be seen as a heritage of sorts, and it's not. And it's like it starts with him. It starts with consciously labeling or viewing them as a group, with a specific ideology, and that's not necessarily how groups that identify by a nationality or just an identity. It's like there's no ideology that kind of comes along with the FBA heritage. It's just more or less people are finding a way to delineate themselves amongst other groups that other melanated groups in America, and it simply just boils down to like, and we talked about the FBA on this channel. We have a YouTube, we have a video about them as well. Check it out. But yeah, they seem to. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, he seems to just essentially like, how do I put this? It's like he's purposefully straw manning and like misinterpreting everything they're about, And it's like I said, it's like it normally wouldn't bother me, but like he knows he knows better, Like ignorance is like, I forget, somebody said something interesting about the word ignorance, but I think they said some along the lines of ignorance is just an opportunity to learn, something like that. But it's like he engages with these people on Twitter all the time, but he purposefully decides to just again just purposefully purposely misinterpret everything they like their entire stance or something like that. And I don't practically understand why. Like I don't know if it's content farming. Like I don't know what it could be, because it's like it's not good argument, Like what you him being as prestigious of a debater that he is, him selling his own name by essentially misinterpreting these people's arguments and worldviews is kind of it's pretty abhorrent. But I'm not gonna do a video on it today per se. Most likely it'll be like next week, next Sunday, where I have like a whole thing about it. It'd be great if he actually stopped in if he notices. But yeah, it's pretty annoying to say the least to see somebody so intelligent as him make such a lowbrow mistake. But other than that, I just remember another video I wanted to let me pull some up real quick. Okay. Let me do some real quick here. That's actually pretty funny.
Anytime stuff like that happen, they say, "Oh, it's a war on black men." When their dirty deeds catch up to them, they say it's a war on black men. But the part that confuses me is that this war is not being waged by black women. But that's the way it's set up. The way that they would have it, have you perceive it, is that
1 second, everybody. I'm gonna take a brief break.
This war on black men is waged by black women.
And it's not.
It's not. But the war on black men has always been raised by the white society. White women seeing our sexual prowess, but using it like Carol Bryant did to be able to get us killed.
Yeah.
Mass incarceration, school to prison pipeline. Black women don't have anything to do with that. They actually suffer under the same conditions. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
You getting ready to go out, getting dressed, you and the homies, couple pre-games,
Right.
get in the car, y'all finna hit the spot.
Okay.
Has it ever crossed your mind like, man, I hope these bitches don't ruin them night?
No.
Never.
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 Ever.
It's never crossed your mind that a woman could ruin your night. Ever. If anything, hopefully I can bag me a woman and advance the night.
Right.
Enhance the night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Women, whether they're going to the grocery store, going to class, going to the club, the thought has to always be in the back of their mind that a nigga will ruin their night. If they turn a nigga down, violence could ensue.
Right.
Physical violence or verbal assault. Right? Nigga, first thing a nigga gonna do, stupid, ugly bitch.
Yeah.
You ain't that fine anyway.
But you tried to holler.
But you tried to holler.
Yeah.
And we have to acknowledge the privileges that we have as a man, that we don't have to worry about like sexual harassment. Unfortunately, rape, like those aren't things we think about. Women go to the club. You ain't nobody trying to roofie you, nigga.
Yeah.
And take advantage.
This is not the video I'm looking for. Hell no. I'm gonna just I'm gonna just do this another time. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. No, I'm gonna I did want to touch on this one video
That balloon.
by the Grits and Eggs podcast. He had brought up a really interesting point that I really want to touch on, but I'm gonna just wait for. I'm gonna just do it another time. Maybe I'm probably gonna just do a bonus video like next week, this coming week, and then just have it like kind of make it his own like little thing, because I really want to talk about this one thing. I forgot the bro's name, but like he had made some comments regarding relegating to black men, and just more gender war shit, honestly. But we'll kind of get there when I can. Anyway, well, hold on, let me see if I can find. I know I can find it. Just hold on. This might be it right here. No, it's not.
But our biggest issue is this perceived gender war, because it divides us in half. It literally splits us right down the middle. Black men, the qualities that you have that will make you a success in the street, a success in athletics.
No, this ain't it either.
Right.
Anytime stuff like that happen, they say, "Oh, it's a war on black men." When they dirty deeds catch up to them.
Yeah, this is it. I found it. I feel so much better now. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna do this one later, but I want to talk about this definitely. I do want to talk about this today. Okay, my bad, everybody. I apologize. Okay, I feel so much better now. Now that I found that video.
I hate when.
Oops, I gotta. Actually, I think there's a couple of these podcasts. Well, not him. Anyway, so. Like, well, let me go and just get the show number because I don't want to be here all night. Anyway, so we're gonna go into the first video. It is about Diaspora Wars, man. So we're gonna have 3 videos and let's get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the. This is the hardest part of the show. I promise it is. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Higher Thinking. It's called the Corner Show, Marcus. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Corner Show, starting High Thinking. And today we have a pretty interesting, pretty interesting set of videos today, especially relegated to the apparent diaspora wars. And I think I really am tired of like all of these things, these little different ways we've found ways to distract ourselves from the things that actually matter in society. You know what I'm saying? Such as like, hold on.
I hate when.
Okay, I don't know why I did that. Okay, such as like, the gender war, and then this stuff regarding like turning Chicago red and stuff like that, and then there's like the diaspora wars and stuff like that. We just find ways to nitpick at each other and stuff like that. Whereas if we just put all that bull crap aside and then focus on what's important, then we might actually start pulling our resources together and then fighting and then finding creative ways to essentially fight back against oppression and take back what belongs to us, truly. So, I mean, needless to say, man, this diaspora war thing is just another point for like white supremacy and stuff. And it's extremely unfortunate that it kind of turns to this type of thing like every single time. But but at the very least, when we start having these conversations regarding solution crafting and then unturning the damage that's been unturning the damage that's been created because of these divisive discussions, maybe we can make some of that time back by actually putting some real effort into, again, finding the right solutions and coming together the right way. So basically, I think a lot of other people. I think the problem with where other people kind of criticize the diaspora wars is they don't engage in it, And that sounds kind of funny, It sounds kind of weird to say, because it's a problem that people that criticize the diaspora wars, some of you don't engage in it. But hear me out. It's one thing to be dismissive that the diaspora wars is like a waste of time, and the people that participate in it are done, no matter which side it is, and it doesn't matter who started it. All the nuance doesn't matter. But my thing is this: like, look, the nuance does matter. The details actually do matter, and if you actually are serious about saving the black community, then you will actually start somewhat engaged in these conversations. Maybe you don't have to necessarily jump in and start, and debate bro and everybody to a bloody pope. But more so, I'm just talking about like understand both sides. Understand like what each side is essentially fighting for. What are the problems of either side? And then you can start to weed out those individuals that are actually taking like this stuff serious, right, in good faith even. And then those individuals that are just flat out chaos agents, and obviously, with us being as essentially kind of far behind as we are, we don't have time for the chaos agents and shit like that. Those people need to be ostracized. They have to go. We have no time to be entertaining people that are embedded in our communities, designed to cause distraction. You feel me? So again, if you care about, the community and stuff like that, you'll understand that this diaspora war is an actual problem, and then it actually is worth engaging in good faith. And that is the only way you will be able to make strides towards actually solving this dilemma. So here at Chicago Black Diligent Podcast, and I High Thinking do want to see the end of the diaspora wars, because it is time for us to do away with these distractions, gender war included, any other of these distractions, for that. I mean, sports video game, whatever. All of these distractions have to go so we can start prioritizing our communities and also prioritizing our aptitude to politics. So without further ado, let's kind of get into like the first kind of video here. It's more or less about it's more or less about identity, and I want to kind of get people to kind of understand some things about this. Let's just put it this way: there's some confusion, and I want to offer some level of insight and perspective, so people can kind of get this on out the way, get these talk points out the way. So whenever somebody were to come up and say, "Hey, Dominicans aren't black," well, you will know what to say to that person. You feel me? While also respecting their wish, while also respecting them. So,
Work. Work. And someone asked, "Oh, what are you?" And I said, "I'm Dominican." And they're like, "Oh, so you're black." I said, "No, I'm Dominican." So have you ever wondered why so many Dominicans say, "I'm not black, I'm Dominican"? Trust me, it's not racism, it's just context. We all
ooh,
know in the US.
yeah. So it's not racism; it's context. I don't even understand why somebody would even think it's like why is racism? Racism is not even like the word you would kind of. I mean, I guess you're trying to say like. I guess you would probably. I'm sorry. I guess somebody would kind of say that. Um, because you're rejecting the idea of being black, that would be like some level of exclusion from the black community. Seem as though that you believe that being black is like being less than or something like that. So I don't know. Well, it's just different perspectives. I'll kind of let's see what they kind of say from here.
US, black identity was shaped by slavery, segregation, and the civil rights struggle. But in the Dominican Republic, identity comes from mestizaje, which is a mix of African, European.
I want to correct her in that as well. I think she just said that blackness is to do with like the struggles that kind of come along with being black. Not necessarily like blackness. Actually has a definition in America, and it's not that, you know. Let's take a look at let's I'm gonna actually show you the definition of like black in America, and we'll find that out by way of checking out the census. Uh, um, oh well, hold on. Yeah, here it is. So, I wish I remember how to hold on, sorry, about the topic of race. Here it is right here. Okay. So, according to the census, um, which is again directly tethered to the government, which is like pretty much the. I mean, mind you, I understand people rather you would rely on a more cultural understanding of these words, but honestly, black people kind of um, we kind of just go along with the terminology that's been given to us and stuff. So black is just one of those terms that we all kind of just adopted. Barely anybody even knows where it even originated, but we all kind of just adopted it anyway. Uh, but regardless of that, you have to understand. If we're gonna be speaking the language, you have to understand where these words kind of come from, and like, and where is most applicable. We have to kind of about understanding of these words from those perspectives. So when you're here in America, and you were to refer to yourself as a black person or African American, then this is what you're essentially saying: a person having origins in any of the black racial groups in Africa. So so that's essentially that is what you're saying when you're calling yourself black, um, in general. So mind you, this also applies to individuals that don't live in America. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. Well, obviously, maybe not African American, right? But like more so, obviously, black. So you would refer to somebody um, somebody in, let's say, Dominican Republic as black because they have origins to the black racial groups in Africa. You know what I mean? And like I said, and you'll see where she's kind of going with the argument, but I just want people to understand, like, there's an actual term, like there's if we're going to use the word, I'm sorry, if we're going to have a conversation about an identity or ethnic identity, we have to use the prevailing definition. You know what I mean?
And indigenous roots. So we have a mixture of all three. So here people say, I'm Dominican first, and everything else comes after. So I represent Dominican Republic, hence I'm Dominican. So in the US, race is often seen as black or white, but in the Caribbean, it's a bit more complicated. There we have Moreno.
See, here's the problem already. See, this is a problem already. It's like she's not taking into consideration the actual understanding or the actual definition of these words. What we understand what these words would be, because she's about to name. Let me take a step back, take a step back, and see what she actually refers to these, or what she actually getting at. I'm sorry, what she's actually going to be listing off as these different types of identities.
Morenito, Indio, Canela, Trigueñito, Blanco, Rubio. And so we have multiple ways that people can describe themselves by the color of their skin, not by the race, ethnic, and all of that, or descent that they represent, because we identify as Dominican. The issue.
Yeah, so, okay. So yeah, they have different ways to like describe themselves, which is fine. But like yeah, it seems like perspective most likely. And I'm pretty sure that's what she said just a couple seconds ago. But I think it's also just a problem of people not necessarily understanding what either of us mean. If somebody would explain to her what black actually meant, which means, again, of origin to black nation. I forgot what that she said already. A person having origins in any of the black racial groups in Africa. Yeah, if somebody would actually explain that to her, she'd be like, okay, well, yeah, my people, I do have lineage to different black nationality or racial groups in Africa, or origin groups in Africa. Like she would like be able to like reason with that to say, okay, there is commonality. I do have commonality. I do have lineage to these people. I do have roots in these in Africa. So yeah, so then the conversation changed. You know what I mean? And then maybe we can all, but if she wants to have a conversation regarding how she would rather be identified as, or anybody for that matter, then so be it. Like we can have that conversation as well. But like if I were to talk to you and say, hey, are you black? Then yes, with the understanding of within my understanding of what black means, she could say yes, but it's just a little bit too dismissive to simply say no, I'm not black. I am whatever. I'm not don't speak the language, so. She's whatever identity that she claims to be, but it's just that when if she had to understand, if they had a conversation about what it means to actually be black, then again, like I said, the conversation will change, and she'll be more likely open to identifying as black, even though she may not actually hold it close to heart. You know what I mean?
Issue comes when people in the US expect Dominicans to fit into one racial category by forcing someone to adopt to an outside label that doesn't build unity.
So yeah, it doesn't build unity. It's like I mean, I don't know, man. Well, I'm gonna let her cook.
More so creates conflict. Because I do not identify as black, I identify as Dominican because it's a mixture of three bloods. So by forcing me to fit into one category, you're asking me to renounce to my other blood, which is my European blood and my indigenous root. We are not denying that we have African blood. We are just saying that we are a mixture of the three, making us mestizo, So that's why we identify as the national pride as opposed to, oh, I am black.
Okay, so yeah, bro, it's like I said, man. Now she's basically saying that they're biracial or multiracial, and it's like we have, we have names for that as well. Like, of course, it's just like a cultural thing that a cultural divide, like semantics argument. Even again, it's just people just need to have understanding of what each what do these words even mean and stuff like that. But like obviously, there's just gonna be some some intersection, some commonality between what she calls herself and we what what we would call somebody like that. And like I said, like people and I'm gonna show you a video a little bit later on about how people can be like multiracial but also still claim one side, or they can claim both sides. So it's like it's just whatever you want to describe, however you want to identify yourself as. But like I get it if they rather not call themselves black or white. Like I get it, but like I said, it's not necessarily a word that's supposed to be inspiring some sort of division, or that a word that doesn't build some sort of unity. This is the fact that hey, we're just asking like, hey, what are you? Like, do you have some origin in Africa? Um, but at the same time, if she want to say she's multiracial, then so be it. But like they'll still, it'll still be confirmed that that she's like one of us, at least by way of bloodline, or some along that nature. Because like this, just because you're the same, just because like, not all skin folks is kin folk. Put it that way.
In the DR, we use black more so as the color of your skin. And here, it's more so to identify your race, your ethnicity, your descent. But in the DR, it's completely different. So instead of forcing someone to fit into your category, let's just let them identify themselves as they please. And that's going to build more unity amongst different cultures. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's like I mean, I definitely get what you're saying to let people identify the way they want to be identified as, but the problem is us Americans don't understand what that means. We don't know what it means to be these other identities. And like, okay, sure, we can ask, okay, what does it mean to be, whatever identity they want to use? But like when they kind of say, oh, it's a mix between like these three races, or it's a mix between these two races, okay, sure, like that, we get it. But like when we kind of just say, okay, it sounds like you're saying that you're black and Hispanic, or it sounds like you're just saying you're white, black, and Hispanic. And it's just our way of saying kind of what you're saying. I mean, but if you want to identify by your nationality, i.e., your country of origin, then that's fine too, I guess. But that's a different like identity. That's like a different identity uh, subject. Like this is a different type of identity than your actual race. It's almost like me asking somebody, hey, what how do I put this? It's like if I were to ask somebody, hey, what do you identify as? And I'm looking for them to specify their nation of origin, and they instead tell me their job description, their job title. You know what I mean? It's like we're looking for one specific type of identifier, and then instead you give us a something that's you give us something that we're not asking for. Another quick example is like white and Jewish. Like those individuals will say, okay, I'm Jewish, but like Jewish people also classify as white off of the color of their skin, whereas Jewish is like more so relegated to a bloodline, or your Abrahamic roots and everything like that. Or in other words, your lineage to your lineage to God. Again, it's a different type of identifier. Like those type of identifiers where we compare it to like things like Ham and Shem, and like and just any of the other bloodlines that's described in the Bible and stuff like that. So people So yeah, people need to just kind of understand like there's a difference in identifiers and stuff. So let's go.
Yo, bro, I have a question for you though. Do you think Somali people are black or not?
You know, my answer, I'll probably say, no, we're not black.
Wait.
We're
So
Somali.
he's Somali? He's Somali, yes. So he's not black.
He's not black.
You're not black.
I'm not black.
What are y'all?
East African. East African and Somali, bro.
Wait. But y'all say nigga though, right?
Yeah, we can say nigga. Look at my
No, you can't.
Not black, we can say the
You can't
N-word.
choose both sides though. Alright. Wait, but like, so your skin, like, if a white person sees us, they're seen us as black. You know that? So like,
that nigga. But you can see that I'm not.
yeah.
You can see in the chat. Oh, no, I ain't shit.
Yeah. That's why I was asking, like, no, imagine, no. Be reasonable though. I don't even, on some real shit, like, no bullshit. No, actually, no bullshit. No. Yo, bro, I have a question for you though. Do you think, Somali bullshit, right? Like, as a dark-skinned nigga though, as a dark-skinned Somali nigga.
Darker than a.
No, as a dark-skinned Somali nigga, okay? How can you say he's not black? He's not black. Like, bro, like that doesn't come on. Like, what you think, bro? You're Somali, right?
I'm half Somali.
Okay, so you think Somali people are black?
White people are Somali.
Yo, this shit is crazy though. I don't like. Bullshit.
Okay, so I mean, and this is just basic, you know, like these is a bunch of young niggas don't know anything, man. That's all this really is. Just going back to what I just said, there's a big difference between your racial identity and your nationality identity. Somali is a nation, right? It's not about it's a nation, all right. And then if you want to identify by your nation of origin, that's particularly fine. But like, it's not something where you are identify as one or the other. Like, being black does not mean you're Black American. And I know some people may get confused on that because they haven't engaged the conversation long enough. But no, like, people are black all over the world. You know, it's just that you are black and your nation of origin. So yeah, these brothers is just like they haven't thought long enough about the conversation, and they've made the mistake of assuming that race is specific to do with your nation or it's comparable to your nation. Yeah, it is. Again, I'm pretty sure they just think that being black means you're a Black American. That doesn't make any sense. So here we have a gentleman kind of explaining his problem with these individuals that have I'm sorry, let's let the man speak for himself. So
Black people, especially from Canada or other countries, mock African Americans for not knowing their heritage. To an African American, it's the dumbest thing that could come out of anyone else's lips. Bro, so where are you from? And you say you're African American, they're like, bro, you don't know where you're from Africa? They're like, you don't know your roots, your heritage? Inside your head, you cringe because it's the dumbest thing they could have possibly said. If you're talking to an African American and you have to question the fact that they don't know their heritage, you should automatically revert back to first grade and start over. Ignorance is not a bad thing. Ignorance just means that you have the opportunity to learn. And I'm gonna teach you. African Americans have no possible way of knowing where they're from because over hundreds of years, literally taken from our homes, and we are put together with other Africans from different countries. They can't communicate with each other, bro. Hundreds of languages from Africa. Different tribes have different languages. And that's the first generation. We would get beaten for talking. So even trying to communicate got us beaten. At what point in time can we learn what specific region of Africa we were from? It's impossible. Our heritage is literally America. They don't call us Africans no more. We're African Americans because that's where our history started. I hate when Black people, especially from
So yeah, he pretty much explained it very well himself. And this goes along with that diaspora word thing. And I see a lot of criticism. Coming at individuals like, let's call them Black Americans for now, But yeah, they'll go by ADOS, they'll go by FBA, you know. But yeah, I see a lot of criticism going their direction because of their attitude towards immigrants, and I would argue to say they are problematic immigrants. I'm sorry, black immigrants. So the, my concern is essentially like there. Yes, we get it. There is a ostracization amongst in the name of FBAs and ADOS, for that matter. Which ADOS is pretty weird that's a thing. Seems that they actually put in a significant amount of work into fighting for reparations and stuff like that. They've done much more things than a lot of what I've seen the criticism criticize them over. But regardless though, these people actually put in the work and they're getting ostracized for it. But the fact of the matter is they there's an actual claim, there's actual relevancy to the things that they're saying regarding these these problematic immigrant Africans and stuff, so, and that kind of goes into what I was saying earlier about actually engaging these conversations, good faith, actually engaging the conversation as if there's actually something serious that's happening here. Now, mind you, there's good people on both sides, right? But there's also bad people on both sides, and then we have to if you're gonna sit here and have these host these debates with these groups of people, but you're not necessarily engaged in the conversation in good faith to understand that there is problematic people that they call tethers. Listen, I understand. I definitely understand the problem and the leadership of the FBA movement. But I've also experienced firsthand, and not that it even matters, but I've experienced firsthand of how problematic immigrant Africans can be towards the advancement of Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. It's you can say it's because you can say it's okay, why did you what makes you think it's because they're African that they're problematic, or what does them being African or non-Black American have anything to do with it? It's the fact that they've not put any an ounce or a second into understanding the struggle or our perspective, and then instead they can essentially just jumped in in lieu of white supremacy. It's that's just kind of the big criticism here. So it's and obviously it's not all of them. As a matter of fact, there's much more, African allies to us than there is enemies and stuff like that. But I don't know what else to say. If these people kind of come in and immediately criticize us and tell us how much better they are than us, again, it brings full. It gives us. It only makes sense that we have a way of labeling those people and to separate those individuals from the ones that are actually good and well mannered. You know what I'm saying? And or rather allies. So I don't know, man. I think people I think these individuals that think they're doing the best thing for us, for Black people, for the diaspora, by criticizing FBA, by criticizing ADOS. For come up with these terminologies to label these individuals, but at the same time, I also have to understand the flip side of the individual. Well, I guess I called them out earlier, the chaos agents. You know what I'm saying? The individuals that no matter what a African immigrant is doing, they're always going to be a tether in their minds because they are just a tether. It's just like a white supremacist looking at you and just identifying you as being an N-word. You know what I'm saying? Just off the strength of you just having black skin. I wanted to say that the truest perspective of why these individuals, these Africans are being given all these type of bywords is because those individual African immigrants have deserved it. But again, we all, I think the proper use of such bywords is only using it where necessary, where it's applicable. Whereas I can't stress it. I can't stress it enough. There's plenty of much more African allies than there are tethers. You feel me? So so yeah. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for this section, man. I just want people to like finally get past this diaspora word nonsense, and I'm pretty sure there's other things we have to talk about, but hopefully this conversation will kind of inch us just a little bit closer, just a tiny bit closer towards this, like destroying this conversation, this debate once and for good, so we can move on to the next step into solving our diaspora problems. You feel me? It's been hard thinking of a Chicago Black Television podcast, and this has been Corner Show. I'm out. See you on the flip side. Okay, so all right, so Ocean Winter as she is a mess. Oh, that girl, that Dominican girl. Yeah, I agree too. It's like I said, it's like from what I'm seeing, this how I take that. This how, and I don't know if I'm gonna edit this in after I'm when I'm editing this stuff for like digestible content and stuff like that. But the problem I think she has is, and I don't know how old she is, but I think it has something. I think that has a lot to do with it. She grew up in the DR, and that's her. And I don't know how much time she spent in America, and she may have a decent level of understanding of how things work in America. Is this the problem? Is she found priority in her own lineage and her own culture over our culture? You know what I'm saying? And the only way you're able to like have these conversations in good faith is by holding both cultures in the same tiering. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that you want to. Not to say that. I'm not going to say that one is more important than the other. Or they're both in the same. Well, I mean, I think I am saying that actually. Yeah, you have to understand that both cultures are essentially, how would I explain this? I'm gonna just say that we have to understand that both cultures are no more important than the other one. And again, the only way to probably have these conversations is literally by learning as much about each other's culture as possible, and then you can find intersection or like agreements between your culture and their culture, find the commonalities and stuff like that, and then have conversations with those commonalities in mind if you want to build like bridges and stuff like that. But for her to kind of like, hey, this is I understand like the perspective she was trying to use to say that individuals in the DR they have no perspective of American culture. So when we were to ask them, hey, are you black? Are you they reject the idea of being blackness, and she tried to say, oh, it has nothing to do with being racist, anything like that. Okay, if that seems to be the perspective she was trying to display, try to like elaborate on and stuff like that, and I get it, but for her to say like let people identify the way they want to identify, is like I get it, but it's still, I mean, in reality, when that person were to say, hey, I am whatever word they use, I'm not keen on like the terminology that the identifiers that she used or the name she used, but when that person this person from DR when they say what they identify as, and if one of us Americans go like, oh, well, what does that mean? What does that mean in English to like maybe translate? And then they just basically say, oh, that it means that my people, my grandmother is from Cameroon, and then my father's from Spain or something like that or whatever. And then they go like, okay, well, you're just biracial. You're white / Hispanic and black. You know what I mean? And that's all that will really mean. So, but if they want to use their own terminology, their own ethnic terminology, well, that's completely fine. But like, I think she should have. I think the better way of her, saying all of that is essentially saying that, okay, just find common ground with what they identify as and what we are asking them. So yes, hey, are you black? And she said, okay, I do have a black in me, but I identify by this name. And what this name means is I have lineage in Africa, and I also have lineage in wherever else. You know what I'm trying to say? Hope that makes sense. Okay. Well, that's CB40. It's a joke, man. Y'all, is that what's that movie called? Give me a second. CB for Augusto, crazy motherfucker. I forgot that. How did that do? I forgot what the name of that. I forgot how that song went. All right, so you remember this movie CB4? I don't want to play no. I don't want to play no clips. I don't want to get I don't want to get no copyright infringements or anything like that. But yeah, that was that movie with Chris Rock, and it was basically a spoof on NWA in that 90s gangster era hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so yeah, that was that video. All right, so yeah, so my man's he got something to say about Arlette, my homegirl Arlette. All right. All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining in. For everybody that's kind of for everybody that's just stopping by, may not know how things are kind of going. I have 3 segments, and I'm gonna intro and outro each segment. So that's like, don't get kind of confused because I'm like introducing a new video where I'm introducing a certain way, like I'm starting a new video. Yeah, I do it this way because this is I'm kind of like pre-recording. Excuse me. I'm kind of just like recording live, and then I'm gonna go back and edit it, and then upload the videos later for like in a more consumption manner, in a more consumable manner. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, what's up, everybody? Wait, okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. Nope, it's not Chicago. It's the Corner Show. Jeez, take 2. What's up, everybody? My name is Higher Thinking, and you're watching the Corner Show. And on this show, I run across whatever videos. Take 3. I think y'all starting to see how this kind of goes. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Corner Show. I'm your boy Higher Thinking, and on today's episode, man, we have a gentleman that has quite a bit to say about my homegirl Arlette from the Pop the Balloon podcast, Pop the Balloon dating show. I don't want to waste too much of y'all time here, so let's take a look, see what the dude got to say.
Pop show was designed to make black people look bad on TV. Go and watch. Balloon Pop show was designed to make black people look bad on TV. Go and watch the show, homie. It's primarily black men and black women just shitting on each other. I don't watch.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, it definitely is. For the most part, yeah, it can. Well, you know what? No, let me stop. It can seem that way if you're just watching the clips. It may seem as though the only thing they're doing is denigrating each other, and that's not this. Like be for real. You know what I mean? If you only gonna be watching clips and like little snippets of like the viral moments and stuff like that, then of course it's gonna paint like a picture. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, most of the people that watch the show are watching the show to watch people like get matched up with each other. The producer himself states like he created the show for love, and then when they do like little catch up episodes, he's always in the comments talking about, this is what it's all about, you know, and that's like a whole little thing that the community likes to see, you know what I mean? They look through the comment section and when they see BM say that's what this is all about, that means that they know they got a good catch up episode that they're gonna watch. But yeah, if you're gonna just watch the clips, bro, yeah, of course it's gonna look a certain way. So, but that's kind of on you to like to not actually engage in the full content. You know what I mean?
That's the shit, but when I do see the little clips of it, homie, that go viral, it's black men and black women dogging each other out. Black man.
Yeah, he just said it. Like he just said that he only watched little clips. So like yeah, that bro, like that's on you that you're not watching the full content and actually watching the best parts of the show. And that's when Arlette says it's a mad, you know what I mean?
And telling the black woman why she ain't good enough. The black woman telling the black man why he ain't good enough. Why in the hell do y'all hype that shit up?
Yeah, so that's, bro, I don't know. Okay, I don't know if maybe this is an actual question he's asking, but it seems to be, for me, it sounds like it's like rhetorical, you know? Because like, again, people should be like jumping to the comment section and, well, I don't know, it looked like they, yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. You can look at the comment section the comments right now. Never watched a single episode, and this is why he's 100% correct. But this is what I'm talking about, bro. I never watched an episode, and this is why he is 100% correct. Like, how do you know he's correct? And you got 2,000 likes, bro. How do you know he's correct if you haven't watched a single episode? Like, it like blows my mind how people's like line of rationale is. You know what I'm saying? It was needed to expose black women unrealistic requirements for a man, and this the other damn problem. It's like, bro, that's not what the damn show is about. The show is about people finding love. It's not about creating an opportunity or creating a platform where women, where black women especially, embarrass themselves. Like, that is, like, what's wrong with these niggas, man? I mean, because the fact of the matter is, it's so many times where niggas like embarrass themselves by way of like not paying attention, dressing like a fucking mess, or like having unrealistic requirements. You feel me? And they ain't got nothing to do with their height. It's just the fact that they're just irrational human beings. You feel me? So yeah, like these people just. I think some girl said she doesn't get that from Powder Balloon, but I just wish she was able to like elaborate on that a little bit more. But I guess it doesn't matter sometimes. Let's go.
Homie, black love is still a thing, dog. Being in love is still a thing.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you talking about, dog? The show is like, bro, like that's like the reason why BM only. I think Arlette is a part of the casting process as well, but that's the reason why they only get black people for the show. They want to show everybody that black love ain't dead. And just because you caught some clips that show why black women have black women telling black men ain't shit and black men telling black women ain't shit, just because those are clips you saw does not mean that it has a very strong message in how strong black love can be and how strong black love can get and how often black love actually happens. Like, bro, like y'all niggas got to do better than this, man. Like, you can't just watch a damn viral clip and think that's the whole damn show. Like, are y'all crazy?
Y'all hype up the nastiest, most rotten, low vibrational shit ever and give it views and attention.
Okay, well, that's true. That is true. That blanket statement generalization is true. There's a strong tendency of people to be hyping up shit, problematic, videos and shit like that, content. Like, we get it.
People profit off of the degradation of black people, and black people support this shit. For the life of me, homie, I cannot understand it. That balloon pop show was...
Okay, that was it. So yeah, that was pretty much like the whole. It was a pretty short one for them, obviously, but the fact, man, is I pretty much said everything I kind of needed to say regarding this dude's commentary. I mean, like I said, you don't watch the show, you ain't watch the clips, and you have a whole lot of shit to say like that. Like what good is your opinion when you don't even like engage in the content itself? Like, and I'm not even trying to be overly emotional about this. It's like the only thing that's actually frustrating about this is niggas like line of reasoning. Like, it'd been great. I'd have been much more humble and much more calm about this had he had came up with like lay out a very well coaching argument as to why this show is problematic. Like, that'd have been completely fine. I would have engaged it in good faith. But this dude on the other hand is just going like, oh, I saw some clips and I ain't like them. They trying to capitalize off of black degeneracy. And I'm like, nigga, you don't know what the fuck they doing because you don't watch the damn show. Relax. So anyway, otherwise, yeah, but, so I don't know why people kind of make these types of arguments, stuff like that. But there's been some other things that kind of happening regarding the Pot Balloon show as well, mainly to do with their the way what they're doing with the monetization system on YouTube. See, apparently BM expressed this in a community tab and also the comment section, one of the videos, that a content creator, a reaction channel, actually copyright claimed their the Arlette's channel, and which is essentially cardinal sin on YouTube. Like this random YouTube reactor, he tried to copyright claim the content of the individuals that actually created content. So that is no mas. But other than that, so he decided him and Arlette, I imagine, decided to come up with a idea of sorts. They partnered up with this with some sort of a business, some sort of a legal team to essentially go do a mass copyright claim on everybody that used their content, myself included. But and a lot of people had a lot to say about that. A lot of people was quite pretty upset about their decision to copyright claim their reactions and stuff like that. And there's generally a agreement between the content creator themselves and the reactors. Like essentially the content creator is like the producer of the content, and then the reactor essentially reverberates that content amongst their audience, so that it can kind of like create how would I say this? It essentially bolsters the original content creator in the algorithm. So like the more your content is being talked about amongst multiple reactors, the more your name is being pushed amongst in the algorithm, and the more your name, your original content's name is being, like I said, yeah, I mean, but it's pretty much what it is. Like, the more your name is going to be attached to these individual these reactor channels, names and algorithms, stuff like that. It's like it's very kind of complicated how the way the algorithm kind of works as far as the tags and stuff like that, and the topics people seem to search the most. But like basically, you can just kind of understand it to be the more you're talking about on YouTube, the more you're going to be pushed in the algorithm, because everybody seems to be talking about you. But that's pretty essentially like the agreement that content creators have with reactor channels. So they allow them to to create these videos without sending out copyright strikes and claims. Now with that said, with them creating it, with them they actually with this new legal team that they've partnered with, they've essentially came up with an idea. They're essentially making some sort of they're offering a bit of a partnership between themselves and all these reactor channels, and that if you apply for them by way of via email, they will offer, Arlette and BM will actually offer you a 60-40 split, 60 going to the reactors way for using their content. And that did not blow over well at all. So basically, yeah, a lot of people kind of criticizing them to be like kind of relatively, I don't know, stingy, capitalistic, like throwing as many words you can at them, and that's kind of it's generally seen as like a bad like deal, a bad thing that they that they try to pull. And I don't know, I am kind of sympathetic of Arlette and BM in this matter, off the strength of that. Like, look, this YouTube game is it's just like that. You know what I mean? The fact that we went so long without them even copyright claiming or copyright striking anybody is actually pretty honestly pretty dope. I mean, how else can I mean, there's no way to really kind of put it for me. I'm actually somewhat grateful that they allowed people to like use their content, and without them, like I said, going in on them for the copyright claims. So for anybody that doesn't necessarily know, YouTube gives people the tools to make claims on anybody at any time, and it's just up to the content creator. It's up to the creators themselves to enforce those tools. And it's just and like on and it's usually the thing is usually the only people that will actually claim you is like big companies like Amazon and like Netflix and stuff like that. But other than that, it'll be like it'll be like a random reactor that just they want in on that money that they had nothing and contributing towards. And what I mean by that is what initially happened to Arla and BM, and then that they some whatever reactor channel they were referring to actually did try to copyright claim their stuff. Now I would agree that necessarily shouldn't be like the reason that they partner with this company, and that part does seem kind of fugazi, not gonna lie. But like for the simple reason that they had the opportunity to do this a long time ago, and they chose not to do it. I mean, that's already that's enough grace. That's plenty. I'm not gonna say enough, but that's plenty grace as it is. But I mean, like I said, that's just how YouTube kind of is. You know what I mean? Like it's not easy for reactor channels to thrive in this type of space. And because essentially you are rolling, like literally every time you found a video to react to, you're rolling the dice. Like things that may not be all that bad on pulling from TikTok or Instagram content. That stuff seems to be relatively safe. But yeah, if you pull in somebody else's YouTube content, again, YouTube literally has tools set in place to protect protect content creators from other people essentially owning or taking ownership of the content that people like BM and Arlet actually invested real money into. You feel me? So I mean, it's a little bit of a controversial take a little bit, but like I definitely kind of stand firm on it for the most part. I have not offered, even though I got 1,000 subscribers and shit like that. So my reactions won't really do much for them too much at all. But like I'm just saying, like I get it. It sucks. It definitely sucks that they made the decision to capitalize off of the reactor channels and stuff like that, especially like a 60-40 split amongst everybody. But at the same time, I think people need to people need to actually research how much money they would kind of take had they used YouTube's system to take that money. I think because if they like I might actually take a look at that if I can. But yeah, in the event that somebody actually takes in the event that Arlet or anybody for that matter copyright claims your videos, it can be a much worse situation. Matter of fact, they can strike your video down as well, which 3 strikes means your YouTube channel is gone forever. So otherwise, man, like long story short, man, like I support BM and Arlet's decision to do this. However, I also am very sympathetic of content creators and reactors that use their content in good faith and were really doing good things with Arlet's and BM's with content. You know what I mean? But like this is definitely one of them things where it's very tough decision BM and Arlet have to make. I wish there could be a better solution to this. I really do. But understanding like YouTube the way that I understand YouTube, I still see that there's still a question to be asked whether this new deal that they're offering is a better deal than what they have kind of done with the YouTube copyright claiming program. But I still have to give them credit for giving us this much time as a whole. Listen, man, if you're a content creator, if you're a video reactor, and you're watching this, like, listen, man, I know it's tough. You hate me. I apologize, but that's kind of how I feel about it, man. It's been hard thinking. I'll catch you on the flip side. Okay. Ocean says, I'm not sympathetic. They put on a public platform they have no right to. Lies. They didn't take ownership. They reacted, and they can do that. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, Chief. Like, I don't know, man. That's like the best way I can explain everything. It's like I don't know. I really do wish. I really wish it could have been done. I really wish we all could just make content and we just pull from anybody that we want to and stuff like that. And like a part of it, part of the problem really is like the advertisers themselves. And I probably should have said this in the video, but part of the problem is the advertisers themselves, and then that they don't want their money going towards like the wrong people. And that gets relatively complicated as well. But like the people, like I said, the people that truly deserve the most stake in this is the people that the people that invested their not just their time and their effort, but also their money into creating that content initially. And for people to just kind of, like I said, for people to just kind of get up set up a microphone, set up a camera, and just give good commentary on the on videos that they're borrowing and stuff like that. It's just like I said, it's just within their right to. It is within BM and RLS right to essentially pull the plug on this stuff anytime they want. I mean, it's like one of them things where it's the law, and it may not be a law that we all support. It's just that it's a law that we all have to just deal with anyway, And I think it's like I said, I think the law more or less, it originated from essentially problems to do with advertising and people like other content creators, not even content creators, but like essentially like thieves, you know what I mean, still in the ownership of content, So let me actually see if I can find if YouTube actually explain why this thing even exists. How would I word this? Okay, so all right, well here's a link to. Uh, do I want to? I really don't like using AI for all of my problems. So let me see if the link takes me anywhere. Why does it just says like why and how and stuff like that. Let's just see what the AI say about it, and hopefully it'll be a good answer. YouTube allows copyright claims because it's a mechanism to protect the rights of content creators. Yeah, so it's kind of what I was trying to say. I just didn't use the word rights. When a copyright holder identifies a video containing their copyrighted material, they can file a copyright claim, which can result in various actions, including removing the video, placing ads on it, or potentially issuing a strike if the claim progresses. This system helps ensure that creators are not infringing on the rights of others and allows copyright holders to take action when necessary. So yeah, and I think, like I said, from my perspective, the biggest problem is, like I said, the problem of individuals stealing the content of other individuals. Like there are like plenty of like faceless YouTube channels whose sole purpose is to like take other people's content and then use it for themselves and make money off of, even though they haven't lifted a finger in creating it. So like it's a way of like fighting against like those types of like backhanded like methods of making money on YouTube and stuff. So I mean it may not be like the full solution to the actual problem, but this is the best solution they came up to this point. And it just what happens that some individuals may abuse the copyright claim process and the copyright strike features and stuff like that, and that is unfortunate. But like also, I mean, it just kind of is what it is. Like they, BM and Arlette as it stands right now, that's just kind of what it is. They are within full. I mean, like basically, people like to use the little fair use quotation a lot, and they like to put it in a little description. They like to throw that fair use quotation everywhere. But that fair use thing, like it doesn't protect anybody, and that's one of the most. That was one of the most like harshest. That was one of the most harshest lessons I had to learn upon being a content creator. A lot of people kind of let me slide, but I still had to respect the fact that if somebody claimed that shit, you had to give it up. And it just is what it is. Can't do anything about it outside of making my own content. You know what I mean? Let's see here. I guess we got to be sticking both channels together. Is YouTube, you put it on public platform. It's if that's the case, create your own app and put it on there. Other than think that it's a free grab. Think that it's a free grab. Copyright law is very vague, and you can't get around it. If you post someone video and talk majority of the video, it's technically your video, and BM Arlette has no rights to strike. What's that? That's why it's that. The other content creator went and strike their videos. It's just going to be a big striking game. Yeah, the big strike game there. I want to say this. Like, look, that the thing about people like talking and stuff like that or making it transformative, like the only thing that's really doing is like what they're trying to do there is hiding their videos from the original content creator. So what I mean, this is what I mean. What I kind of specified earlier regarding this system that YouTube has created to create copyright claims. I mean, the ability to issue copyright claims at all, like that system, it has like how do I put this in words? Basically, it works like this. When an individual uses a certain amount of video footage, especially when it first started, when they use a certain amount of video footage that does not belong to them, YouTube actually tracks that clip and then sends a message to the original person that owns that video, and they will give that content creator, the owner, their true owner, the option. They'll give them several options. They'll either like ignore it, issue claims, or they'll whatever the options is available to them. And so what people did was they try to make shorter clips, and then they'll talk more, and then but still use but kind of like just kind of spread out the clip and all that stuff in an effort to bypass YouTube's I guess censors and stuff like that. So it was a way of them trying to get past, game the system or sneak past the system. But just merely making it transformative, talking and stuff like that, talking over it, things of that nature, that actually doesn't really protect you. You know what I mean? I know there's some people that kind of try to make that seem to be true, but like I said, when you watch YouTube, there's informational YouTube videos regarding free use and stuff like that, and there's lawyers that actually speak on it. You have to listen to the lawyers speak about free use to understand what you're actually what you're actually entitled to do and using somebody else's content. But the best you can really do is really just contact the original content creator themselves, and then make some sort of a deal, pitch some sort of a agreement between you and that original content creator. Otherwise, everybody's just kind of subject to dealing with the consequences of using their content. You feel me? But yeah. So I'm gonna get to the last video. I hope that clarifies some things. It's tough, But if anybody has any questions about YouTube at all, I'm definitely the guy to ask. I can explain pretty much more or less anything to do with YouTube. So this is I can definitely offer assistance with that. Well, this is not what I'm looking for. Okay, yeah, this is it. Okay. All right. This will be the last video. I'm so glad I was able to find it because I was hurt not being able to find this video. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Corner Show. Starting me, High Thinking. And today we are going to be talking about a very viral video that kind of came out, I believe a week or two ago, May 22nd, actually. And then that this individual is this YouTuber duo, whom I forgot the other guy's name, but like Deontay Kyle, one part of the Grits and Eggs podcast. It's more or less I don't know if they identify themselves as SYCBM, but like they are they are like a YouTube, or it's a podcast aimed at something that's very similar to what I do here. Create solutions that are that will bring Black people together so that we can face the oppressors and all that stuff, and make a meaningful change within our own communities. So what he does, he normally does good work here. He's been doing it for a long time. I've only heard good things about him. But this video has definitely got a lot of people, a lot of content creators on the fritz, especially the red pill space. So let's see what he got to say.
They say it's a war on Black men, but the part that confuses me is that this war is not being waged by Black women, but that's the way it's set up. The way that they would have it, have you perceive it, is that this war on Black men is waged by Black women,
And it's not.
It's not. But the war on Black men has always been raised by the white society. White women seeing our sexual prowess, but using it like Carol Bryant did to be able to get us killed.
Yeah.
Mass incarceration, school to prison pipeline. Black women don't have anything to do with that.
True.
They actually suffer under the same conditions. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
You getting ready to go out, getting dressed, you and the homies, couple pre-games,
Right.
get in the car, y'all finna hit the spot.
Okay.
Has it ever crossed your mind like, man, I hope these bitches don't ruin them night?
No.
Never.
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 Ever.
It's never crossed your mind that a woman could ruin your night. Ever. If anything, hopefully I can bag me a woman and advance the night.
Right.
Enhance the night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Women, whether they're going to the grocery store, going to class, going to the club, the thought has to always be in the back of their mind that a nigga will ruin their night.
I wanna say something real quick too. I don't want anybody to get confused about what he just said regarding women enhancing their night. Like, look, there is definitely a perspective of sexualization that kind of always happens when a man and a woman are involved, especially like late at night. Like, I get it, but like there's obviously other activities you can do with other people that you meet at a club other than having sex. You know what I'm saying? So, but I know typically that's like the goal of like guys, stuff like that, to find a girl to bag and all that stuff. Like I get it, but again, like it is after the party is the after party. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, again, you can still meet a respectable girl at the club. You know what I'm saying? And her being respectable just might involve her not giving it up on that night. You know what I'm saying? But again, I don't want people to think that this dude's a pig because he's referencing doing it in the dark. You know what I mean? He's actually speaking to a larger point than that, than something like that.
If they turn a nigga down, violence could ensue.
Right.
Physical violence or verbal assault. Right? Nigga, first thing a nigga gonna do, stupid, ugly bitch.
Yeah.
You ain't that fine anyway.
But you tried to holler.
Yeah. And we have to acknowledge the privileges that we have as a man, that we don't have to worry about like sexual harassment. Unfortunately, rape, like those aren't things we think about.
So yeah. These are big points. There's nothing to argue against this. Nothing to argue against this, like none whatsoever. There's not. Men don't think about getting sexually assaulted nowhere near as much as women think about that sort of thing. You know what I mean? For obvious reasons, you know. So like with him saying all this, this is a very solid, well-grounded premise. So I don't know where you're going from this point out, but for those individuals that was criticizing this, not looking good.
Women go to the club. You ain't nobody trying to roofie you, nigga.
Yeah.
And take advantage of you. If you go in the club right now and it was me and you, let's say me and you, we go to the club. We walk in that bitch, nothing but women.
Right.
We're gonna be like, shit.
Let's do it.
Hey,
Let's do it.
hey.
It's a good night.
First of all, is this for the public?
Yeah. How we get here?
How do we get this lucky?
Yeah.
It's nothing but women here?
Mm-hmm.
If a woman and her homegirl walk in the club is nothing but men, that's a dangerous situation for them to be in. Like, okay, Diddy and Tory, right?
Right.
Anytime stuff like that happen, they say, oh, it's a war on black men. When they dirty deeds catch up to them, they say it's a war on black men. But the part that confuses me is that this war is not being waged by black women. But that's the way it's set up.
Okay, yeah.
The way that they would have it, have you perceive it, is that this war on black men is waged by black women.
Okay, yeah, they said now it's just a little bit. Yeah, so needless to say, yeah, he's absolutely correct in everything he just said. Like this, women definitely have to worry about like this aspect of danger when being surrounded by men. I know there was another part to his too. I'm about to find that because I wish I could find that video. You know what? Let me just pull. Give me 5. Give me 5. I'm about to find something real quick. Well, I guess y'all can at least see my face and all that stuff. But this is one video that I saw. I know if nothing else, I'll have to borrow it from We Need to Talk. Let me see. YouTube. We Need to Talk. Okay, so that's what he went. All right. Okay. Yeah, there he is right here.
I've done a doctorate.
Is Kyle pandering?
Sorry, I heard some of y'all didn't get the memo, so I'm here to just, reiterate it. These niggas are narcissists! Run! Run for your life! They're trying to take your life! It's fuel! They're vampires! They're fucking...
She crazy. Yeah, I remember that part. Commercial break. I'm just trying to find this one part, and I want to see if I can find it on IG or
rather than be raped.
I really just need like 1 or 2 quotes from it, and I'll be able to help me. It'll help
In
me
the
search
film,
it
we
better.
see black people being a threat to white women.
All the myths of black men as rapists.
Women being validated in their concern, Kyle missed. And in his articulation of women being validated in their concern for their safety when they are amongst men, he could have also taken the opportunity to acknowledge that some men, based on their experiences with their mothers, with their grandmothers, with their aunties, with the lady who violated them when he was 5, are also justified in their mistrust, in their disdain, or even their anger. Is the established paradigm, the established cliche in our community amongst our women.
I know now how white people... I'm talking about, we say the hard R's.
Provide and protect for their women, right? Even the Honorable, in his articulation of
I cannot believe
women being validated in their concern for their safety when they are amongst men, he could have also taken the opportunity to acknowledge that some men...
Okay. Because otherwise I have to go through this long...
I may know how to take...
Oh, this might be... Oh, my... Did he really start out... Oh, my God, I feel so salty.
may know how to take rejection.
Riddling.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
Yeah.
And you are accountable for that as well. Because I don't got time to figure out which white people are nice, which white people aren't racist, or da-da-da-da-da. I have to go on the actions of the group.
Right.
Okay, so accountability and projection, I think. Yeah, this is it, but like it was like a different video. '68. Here it is. I found it. Okay.
You may not.
All right, I got it. All right. I apologize, everybody. I found it finally. God damn. Okay. How do I blow this up? I guess I can't. Okay, here we go. I did it. Okay. So I'm gonna do some really funky magic with this one. Okay. All right, we're gonna here's the video. This is the video I really want to find. The other one was not the one I was looking for, but this is actually the one I was looking for. So here we go. Let's take from the top.
You may not harass women. You may know how to.
Oops. Okay, let's do it.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
Yeah.
And you are accountable for that as well. Because I don't got time to figure out which white people are nice, which white people aren't racist, or da-da-da-da-da. I have.
Okay. Already. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So, like, the equivalency is pretty interesting. It's really interesting to say the least. What's implied here is and I don't know how to think about this yet, but this is what's being laid out. White people can impose the oppression onto black people in the same way, maybe not in the same way, but like black men can impose oppression upon black women. Like that's what's being said here. Well, I guess when you kind of force the example into like the conversation, that's what's kind of happening. But if he's just trying to, okay, in good faith, maybe he's just trying to say, this is in another way, this is kind of what's happening. Or what I'm trying to say is he's trying to separate the example. He's using this example just to better deliver the point that he's trying to make, or try to drive his point home. So yeah, I don't know. Like in good faith, we don't have to necessarily say, oh, he's trying to say black man is tantamount to white people. So I'll give him that. I'll take that back. Oh, there you go. I'll give you a bone, Kyle.
Have to go on the actions of the group.
Right.
The group as a whole and the history of that group as a whole tells me that they are a danger to me and they are not to be trusted.
Right.
And if you can understand that as a black man and your stance towards white people, then you should absolutely be able to understand women's stance towards you.
Okay. Jesus. Ooh, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Oh my goodness. This is a tough one. So he's essentially rationalizing the fear like black women have for a black man, and going off of like, and I did learn this from like my year and some change in diving into like the Black women empowerment YouTube spaces and aka the divestment channels and the swirler channels and all of those and all these other different type of male bashing channels for the most part. One thing that was something that I could not argue against at all was the fact that there is a black femicide happening, and then that black men, especially black men that are tethered, like that are, I'm talking family members, individuals that these women know. That's what was those were the apex predator essentially, unfortunately. So like there is a fear that is directly attached to something that's empirical data. You know what I mean? Of the women that have gotten unalived is primarily black men. But like the other side of that, of the other argument to that is, if it was that bad, there would be no black women left. And what I'm saying is that it's bad, but like there's more positive interaction there's more positive interaction that men give onto women than otherwise. At least that's what the opposite would say. Now, when you actually start to like have meaningful engagements, meaningful conversations, between these two, and in this, when you start to have more, meaningful conversations to do with this topic, you will learn that the gray area is kind of bad too, as well. You know what I mean? And it didn't really seem that bad. Me coming up like all throughout my 20s, and even maybe a decent portion of my 30s as well. Again, it didn't seem that bad, but then when you start to kind of when you kind of think about or kind of really take really strong notice into how men kind of engage with women, you kind of you'll start to notice some problematic areas in certain situations. So I'm not saying that the only way you're not gonna offend a woman, a black woman in this context, is by glazing them up at every chance you get and cheerleading them and buying them things and stuff like that, being a simp and whatnot. I'm not saying you need to do that, but you gotta at least be completely neutral when they're around. Like, I think the good way of thinking about it is like they're a friend. Like, how do you treat your friends? Are you like sexual with your friends? Are you your friend? Are your friends your friend because you want to like sleep with them and stuff like that? Like, relatively no, right? Because like, and if the answer is no, if the only answer to that is that they're a man and not a woman, then you have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Understanding that it's somewhat, it is actually somewhat taboo for a man and a woman to have a platonic friendship. Like that actually seems to be taboo for whatever reason. But with the current culture essentially being what it is now regarding men and women's like relationships and stuff like that, and how people can kind of look at two people being together that are opposite opposite sex, and for people's first instinct to be, they're probably a couple. I mean, that kind of shows you that there is like currently culturally, there's just always going to be, there seems to be a correlation between two people that are opposite sex being with each other and some level of like dating or things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So it's not to say that it's not necessarily it's a bad thing, really. I'm not going to say it's necessarily a bad thing, but with that being the default perception, it can lead to certain outcomes actually happening you know what I mean, it seems to not be that far fetched. So this is what I mean by that. If everybody, if men and women can just be completely platonic and nobody will automatically assume that y'all are an item or anything like that, and it's like it's very normal. It's like, I mean, much more normal now for two people to be in two people of opposite sex to be in a platonic friendship. Then there'll be less inclination. There'll be less inclination to believe that he is sexually pursuing that woman. You know what I mean? And because like the man pursuing the woman in a sexual manner is the current norm, that kind of shows that it is relatively against nature. Almost, some people would actually argue for a man to not pursue that with a girl. I think in order for like that type of thing, I mean, I think in today's time, I think it's important for those two individuals to have it be perfectly like well established that what they are is just not gonna evolve anything further. You know what I'm trying to say? So because we are in a culture where men are normally trying to pursue women sexually, that kind of puts women it kind of puts women on the defensive, or just outright. I'm talking about in reference to individual, like and dealing with men in general, because if their closest friend wants to like engage with them in a way that woman may not, would be down for, just imagine what like these random guys that are catcalling her what kind of feels like. And right now I'm talking to the guys. Right now I'm just talking to the guys. I know all the ladies know exactly what I'm talking about already, but the guys, this is what you need to understand when it comes to when it comes to like the current culture in relation to the relations between men and women and being friends. You feel me? So with women already being on edge about all these guys trying to date them and pursue like sexual activities with them, now add to the fact that men are on average larger and stronger than women. Add to the fact that men typically are going for women that are smaller than them, that they can dominate. You know what I mean? So it's like it makes sense for women to be on edge. And that is what that's what Deontay kind of more or less is kind of, that's essentially what he has understood. And that I don't know, because I don't watch the podcast and thoroughly, right? But I don't know if he laid it out in the similar manner that I just did, but what I just said is really imperative to understanding what his messaging is in this video. He's trying to let everybody know that women are afraid, but they have a reason to be afraid. Now he's using this white thing to like help men understand and stuff like that. Look, I work around white people all the time. I'm not afraid of white people, bro. Albeit I know there's just some things that I know I can't do that maybe they are able to do, maybe. But like I'm in a relatively safe environment. Like I see white people get, locked up and stuff like that, and they don't act out like that around where I work and stuff like that, right? I live in a black community, but like where I work is not a black community, but they're relatively cool, you feel me? So like so what him trying to say this, if you can understand like having that fear while being around white people, you should understand a black woman's fear when being around a black person. So what Deontay, I guess the criticism I will offer for Deontay is like, no, this example isn't that good for the simple reason that not every black man is afraid of a white man. And mind you, he did say if you understand that. So that was a very important word. But he needs to, in order for this conversation to mean something, in order for it to expand to like reach the audience that are not afraid of white people, you have to kind of like get rid of these examples and then actually explain the science to them. And again, he probably did explain the science behind or the actual logic, and I probably missed it. So, I apologize. But again, something like overall, all that aside, black women definitely have a reason to be afraid of black men. It is not just because of irrational fears and stuff like that. It's like literally it's literally in the data. If black men want to earn black women's trust again, then we have to kind of turn around the culture.
Mm-hmm. It's not a war on you waged by women. Actually, the war get a little thicker when we start talking about it from the perspective of a woman and the greater society of racism and white supremacy being waged against black people, and then the patriarchal society being waged against women. So they
okay. All right, let me stop right there. So he's doubling down on a white systemic oppression to this thing. Oh man, I don't want to sound like why you making this about race guy? I really don't want to be that dude. But this shit. I might be that dude. But like listen. I think there's definitely a conversation that need to be had regarding white supremacy. I think that is very much so true. However, I think you're doing a little bit too much. My knee-jerk reaction right now, and I might change this. My knee-jerk reaction is equivocating black men to white supremacy and and the dominance white supremacy can have. I'm sorry. Equivocating black men to white people I believe is doing a little bit too much, knowing that white people just have access to so much more than what black men have access to, and dominion to the black experience, the black culture. That's just kind of where I'm at with that. I think you're just doing a little bit too much with that equivocation. I really don't think it's a good example. But mind you, if this is his way of like mixing in, the leftist talking points of patriarchal structures and white supremacy and stuff like that in a conversation about the gender wars, okay, I get you. That's fine. But I think you need to just have these two conversations in two separate videos, so that it can be interpreted better, so it can be better embraced by the man that you are trying to reach out to. Because again, no black man wants to be told that they are the white people of the black community. You feel me?
We have to deal with two elements. One of those elements we don't have to think about, and honestly, we're perpetuated. Mm-hmm. And it's perpetuated against us young to look at women as objects,
right?
To look at women only through the lens of a sexual desire.
And mind you, this, and he knows this as well, but it's not just a black man thing. Like this, you look at nationalities across the world. Women are objectified. They're hidden. Like you name it. It's wild all over the world. Don't get me like, and he understands that already. But yeah, I'm gonna let's just keep going.
And not as the human being that they are. And when you understand how to deal with
that's what I want to add to. But yeah, this idea of the black community, doing this is a good point. It is a good point, and it is something that I believe that we can work in solving. And I think I do believe we're making progress. You feel me? I do truly believe that. But it's just gonna take a little bit more. It's gonna take more conversations, more meeting in the middle, and more compromise. But for the most part, and I would say even more importantly, a little bit more patience. But when once black men as a whole do a better job at like empathizing with the black women experience and everything like that, that'll be like the first step towards us essentially understanding like why this fear is where this fear is coming from, you know.
Women on a human level, you understand how much women will enrich your life.
Amen. Amen.
You want
you
want to turn it up a notch?
Yeah.
Get you a good woman and get your good black woman in your corner.
Amen.
Hey man, you want to see your life turn up?
Hey.
And see, this is the thing though.
So I'm letting, I mean, bro, this is like the crux of the savior culture of black man movement. You feel me? Or at least this is where we need to be until we fix the problem, actually. Black men need black women need black men. Like there's no way around this. And we need black men to show up, and we have black women that show up, but for the black women, how would I explain this? This is kind of like off the cuff for the most part. There are black men that are showing up, and there are black women that are showing up. You know what I'm saying? But like the culture, the idea around complete directing the attention back into the community, back into the culture, it needs to be reverberated and needs to be an expanding ideology. It needs like the way we get back to the way we get back to the best version of ourselves, the best moment of the black community's life. Mind you, the racism was crazy. During the 40s, 50s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. That was still a time of like great black success because we came together. We had families. We built together. We bought together, so on and so forth. We can get back to that, but we have to get past this empathy period in order for that to happen. All that aside, what he's saying is extremely, extremely true. You get a good black woman on your side. Guess what's gonna happen next? Your life as a black man I would argue, will skyrocket, because if you find somebody that's completely about you, and you find somebody that you can completely stand behind and support through and through, the sky's the limit as far as what you're able to accomplish. And then if you are able to inspire around people around you, families around you, to work it out when times get tough, and then to become community minded and go getters and goal achievers. Again, that's what creates kingdoms. You feel me? But let's keep going.
It's a privilege, bro. It's a privilege. You know what I'm saying? We often disregard the power of our black women. The spiritual essence that they're gonna bring to things, the knowing, the seeing, you know what I'm saying? Also, too, imagine it. They have to be hyper vigilant because they have to be constantly scanning the room, making sure that they're in a safe situation.
So, for the ones that pay attention, that's absolutely true. But unfortunately, not all the time. Unfortunately, not all the time, because I've been in clubs where some people, and it's obviously not just the women, but like, some women was so out of it because they were so intoxicated. There is no knowing what's left and right. But those individuals probably had problems that I can only dream to be able to understand. But ultimately, yes, there is a higher likelihood of a woman being vigilant, being always scanning of what's around them, especially when she's seasoned in her culture, in her surroundings. If she's like if she's been outside, she can spot something. Maybe she might be able to spot something sooner than you can. Might be able to give you a heads up on what's the coming, so you can assist you and keep your head on the swivel. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to think about.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? When we think about these kids who were clearly in Louisiana having the time of their fucking life because they graduated, and we think about white people's reaction to Black joy.
Oh yeah,
it's not about civility. It's not about decorum. They don't like to see us happy.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So he's referring to that video with all those black women out dancing and stuff like that. because they were celebrating their graduation and stuff. And how do I start? I'm gonna admit to something. I definitely had a relatively conservative, right? If I can, I'm gonna call it for what it is. I'm gonna call it for what it is. I had like a kind of a bad reaction to that. I'm like, these girls got their degree, and now the first thing you want to do is shake their ass. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing my man went to upon seeing that video. But actually, my homeboy King Savage actually expressed to me like, no, this is cultural for us. Women shaking their behinds, that goes back to Africa. And we today may ostracize it. We today may find it to be deplorable and bad and things like that. But those words didn't, not those words necessarily, but those, yeah, okay. What I mean to say is those words to describe, twerking did not apply back when it was in Africa. It was something that was just a way of celebrating. You know what I mean? Back during that time. So to criticize those black women for celebrating in the way they celebrated, I had to do a second take because after he had said that, I had to realize that, okay, one, none of this stuff is against the rules. It's just not. Them shaking their behinds after receiving their degrees and stuff like that. That's not against any of these rules. Second of all, I had to check myself in understanding that what is normally accepted how to celebrate receiving you receive your degree and everything like that. That's just a formal way of doing it, and it was a long practice and it's tradition. It's this long tradition behind it, but is it required? Who created it? Who made that acceptable to be the only way of celebrating your you receiving your degree? So then I'm like, okay, and I accepted that. So then I later on saw more, and mind you, there's a bunch of reactors, calling these women like all these derogatory names and stuff like that for celebrating the man they celebrated. And I'm like, well, and I was like, whatever, maybe they need to have a conversation with the King Savage. Maybe they change their mind. They most likely won't. But then it wasn't until I saw another video where I saw, I might post the video up later on. But like, there was a bunch of gentlemen receiving their diplomas, and they were dancing on the way to receiving their degrees. And it wasn't nobody was shaking their booties. Nobody was doing no type of gang affiliated dances. Nobody, everybody was. I mean, they danced. They bust a move with it like that, but it was relatively respectable. But at the same time, these same individuals that criticized these black women for shaking their butts just like that, they also criticized these gentlemen for just doing a celebratory thing upon receiving their diplomas. And that's when I realized you just can't please these people. I mean, they want you to walk around with a stick up your butt when you achieve something as profound as patience, as what's the word? As difficult as receiving a master's degree or anything like that. Like, these people are not worth the effort. They're not worth engaging in whatsoever. So that kind of essentially, like, it completely erased the credibility they had when I listened to their opinions regarding the black women celebrating. You'd almost think that if it had been a bunch of Native Americans or Asian people doing their like traditional dances or things, whatever they do, they probably would have given a pass just because they weren't black people doing things that are typical of black people. So that's something I kind of wanted to kind of highlight as well, you know. So, but that was I feel like I do think that was a good thing that for Deontay to kind of point out. You know what I mean?
Is
Now, how often are women just having a good time, and here come a nigga trying to ruin their fun?
yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it pandering, but if I was up here caping for white women, you wouldn't even mention that word.
Mm-mm.
If I was up here caping for Hispanic women, you wouldn't even call it pandering. Only when we take pride and show love to black women do you call it pandering. Get your motherfucking mind right. Use your cabeza. You may not.
Okay. All right. So usually I'll be like all criticizing people for having things like that to say about oh man, like usually I would say something about individuals that try to paint a picture about the man that may call us out on the degenerate things that we do, in this case pandering, and then the way that he deflected that, I would normally have pursued that as far as a like I said, it was a bit of a deflection. It wasn't engaged in an argument. However, I know I'm not the type of person that call that type of thing pandering. Again, I know that what he said was rooted in rational and logical fact. It's like, again, there's data that suggests black women have a rightful fear around black men. Not to say it needs to be like a 10 out of 10 fear. You know what I'm saying? But like there is a level of uneasiness when a woman is around black men of any number. You know what I mean? Albeit, if you've earned the trust of that black woman and she feels safe and protected around you, that can change things. But understanding that fear isn't illogical is like the first step to actually empathizing with these women. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's like that type of thing. Like that first step, again, that first step is necessary to amending the chasm between black men and black women. And I know this is going to be tough. I know this is tough for people to digest. And I'm definitely open to conversation. But one thing I do want black men to understand, if it's any consolation, yes, the majority of us, I believe, are safe people, especially around black women. The majority, you feel me? And I'm not gonna necessarily say that you are responsible over the actions of your fellow black man, right? Especially the degenerate ones. White supremacy has a lot to do with all of this. Okay, I want everybody to understand that the fact that the fact that our greatness was capped from the very beginning by these individuals is something that we have to note when we engage these types of conversations. 400 plus years of oppression without therapy, that needs to be taken into account when having these discussions, right? And the fact that we are going to be the only ones that's going to be able to solve these issues economically and socially, all while keeping our health together. That's going to be the big challenge. But I'll tell you one thing: the last thing we need to be doing is perpetuating this idea of a gender war. I get it. Black women currently are not perfect. All right, they're not perfect right now. But don't for a second believe that you are perfect. And when these black women show you the reason why you're not perfect, and it's actually backed by data. Don't get mad at people like Deontay for being able to understand what these women are actually saying. It's been a hard thing of a corner show. I'll catch you on the flip side. Holy crap. All right. What episode? Okay. All right. If anybody that's left, I appreciate y'all sticking around. I don't want to cold y'all. I will definitely be chopping these videos up as soon as I can. And I will also be doing live streams throughout the week. I will be researching more of the big bullshit bill. And whatever else kind of comes my way. I want to be researching. I want to start researching other things as well. I got my eyes set on the GDP. I want to write that down. GDP. I want to learn more about the GDP. I want to learn more about Karl Marx and communism and socialism. There's something called game theory I've had my eyes set on. I think at least it might have something to do with what I get. It might have something to do with the theories that the worldview that I hold.
I harass women. You.
But other than that, that's kind of it for now that I can kind of think of. Maybe some brain. I like maybe some more brain stuff. And brain. Let's see, inner workings. And inner workings and what is it? Behaviors. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna do my best at streaming every day. And I'm going to be doing my best at trying to edit this stuff as well. Maybe one day I'll be smart enough to hire an editor. At the very least, see how much that stuff that'll cost. Anyway, yeah, I ain't gonna hold the rest. I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. It's been a great, man. Great podcast tonight. I'll catch you on the flip side. It's been Chicago Bad Leads. I'll catch you on the flip side. Dun, 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 dun.